Right, I think I'm live. Hello, hello, hello. It's Wednesday and it's not that much past 8 o'clock. Been pushing some buttons trying to get things to work. I hope it actually worked. I'll find out later on, I guess, because I can't see what went out because it's happened already. But there we go. It's one of those things. I can see myself on there. Let's have a quick look. See, hopefully it's not quite such a car crash this week. Just have a quick look on the actual channels, see if I'm there. And it says one watching, which would be me. Oh no, that's two watching now. Right, click on there. So it's working. Right, okay, great, thank you. It's, as I say, it's Wednesday, it's 8 o'clock. It's actually 20:06. And we've got people actually putting messages up. That's good. So that's all sort of going in the right direction. Yeah, didn't do one last week because I got bogged down, and to be honest, I wasn't feeling that wonderful. So I missed the deadline, and I thought, well, I can't go live now, and it's just all got to go very wrong. So it didn't. But anyway, thank you for coming in today, and yeah, we'll see where we can go from there. I've called it Let's Chat Nothing Difficult. So anybody got anything to chat about? If there's nothing coming on, Van der Vast. So if you've got anything you'd like to say, now would be the time. If not, then what I shall do is I shall have a ramble, and we can have a look around and see what's available on various other things. And also it'd be interesting to see whether my feed stays positive this time, because I had a lot of trouble. It says excellent condition at the moment, and it says that things are doing all right. I don't believe it for a minute, because we've got other problems with the internet, but forever hopeful. You never know. It's always worth having a glass half full rather than a glass half empty. It's if only for the morale rather than the moral. Right. I've been thinking about this week doing got another one watching. If anybody would like to click on the like button, it'd be good. That'd tell YouTube that things are happening, and they might even push it out. You never know. Yeah, I was thinking I'm going to do something with my old reel-to-reel. Now, the trouble with my old reel-to-reel is that it's at least, well, it's as old as the Beatles, if not older. In fact, I can remember it being around about 1960-ish that it was being used, and it was one of these ones that quite happily destroyed a tape on rewind, because the way they used to work in those days, they didn't have servos, they had dragging clutches and things, so the motor's in full drive, got a slipping clutch. When the tape came off the reel that it was being supplied from, there was no resistance, so it just went faster and faster and faster. It's amazing how far oxide can go. That's my memory. There was an almighty smashing sound as the tape was whacking round, and Mum was sort of like, well, she was rather upset really, because it made a mess. And it was my dad's pride and joy, and she wasn't overly pleased. And the reason was somebody had knocked on the door whilst she was doing something. She went off and answered the door. Hello, Eggle. Hi, how you doing? And welcome back. Just recounting little stories of smashed up tapes. Anyway, if you've been around earlier, sort of earlier last year, I went and saw my brother, and he gave me the reel-to-reel. I said, "Is there anything you can do with this?" And I looked at it and thought, I do honestly not know. It's just a valve-operated reel-to-reel. I think it's American, and I know it was good quality at the time. Ah, so you're back on the circuit now, Eggle, huh? Anyway, yes, it was very. It's been in the shed for at least 45 years. It was in my mum's shed, then it was in my brother's shed, and now it's in my bedroom. And what I had intended doing with it was just taking the thing apart and seeing if there was anything that could be done. But looking at it when I did the preliminary video on it, which is on the channel, it was obvious that there was problems. Petrified, as in the petrified forest, turned to stone. There's bits of cork and stuff in there that should be cork, and it's not. It's turned into literally carbon pressurized. I mean, I think leave it another couple of thousand years, and we'd have diamonds. It's that sort of aging effect it's had, but at the moment it's just very hard, and nothing moves in the right direction. So what I was going to do is, I did actually say at the end of the last video, if anybody was interested in it, let me know, and nobody has. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do a teardown, unless anybody can come up with a better idea, and just literally take the bits of pieces off it with a view to seeing how it was made. But there is no hope of fixing it unless you happen to have those sort of spares. It's an unknown in the UK brand, relatively, and it's specialist parts, as in they only fit it. So what I'm going to do, I was thinking, was just take it apart, just see what's what. Obviously film it while I'm doing it, and see if there's anything that would make of any interest to anybody else. Now, if you think that's a good idea, then great. And if you don't think it's a good idea, then let me know. If you've got any experience of this sort of thing, maybe you'd like to put some comments on, and we'll see where we go from there. It will be happening shortly, as in over the next couple of days probably, because I've had to sort of G myself up to it, and I've had to get a couple of other projects out of the way as well, and whatever. And it could be interesting. I've got a load of 78s to showcase on the shorts, because that way they actually don't affect my channel for copyright, because I've got some proper names. I've got some Bing Crosby 78s and things, and I don't want to get in trouble for copyright, but on the other hand, it'd be nice to play them, let people have a listen, because I don't know about you, but my experience of 78s is relatively rare. Being a kid of the 70s, no, sorry, the 50s, 1957. I'm getting my numbers wrong there. Being a kid of the 1957-ish, they were on their way out, well on the way out by the time I was old enough to know what a round black thing was. And I remember Dad having to get upgrades to various things in order to be able to do 45s and LPs and stuff. Had the dance it type thing with the BSR turntable and the rollover cartridge, and eventually he bought himself something decent. But it was quite an experience. So 78s I knew of. I think Mum made some ashtrays or some flower pots out of some. I don't know if you can do that with that, or whether that was with vinyl ones. Anyway, because they're made of shellac, they're not vegan, which is a big problem. If you happen to be a vegan, you can't collect 78s, because they're made from the oozings of a beetle, the shellac beetle. No, the lac beetle, LAC something or other. Anyway, that's what they're made of. That's what they do, and so I'm going to play those. And if there's anything of any value there, keep it. And also, I've got some other things sort of lined up. But as normal on these, I'm going to say, anybody got any ideas what they'd like to have me investigate or report on or witter on about, then let me know. Send me a message one way or another. I do read all the comments, and I do read emails if they're sent to me. I've had the odd one, so it's nice. Let's see, Ego says, concerning VHS, I've still got a heap of VHSs and my son just loves the whole VHS thingy. You know, the sounds of play and rewind and stuff. Oh yes, I've got a bag of VHS tapes upstairs, some of which have got home movies on, as in, you know, from cameras. But it must be, it's probably 1 metre wide by 1 metre high by 1 metre deep, if you were to work it out properly, which is a hell of a lot of tapes. And yeah, I've actually got a machine that works, as you're probably aware. But yeah, I think VHS machines are great. Excuse me. So have you only got the one machine though, Eggle? Or have you got more than one so you can keep the thing going? And the other thought is, are you going to digitalise them? Because if there's anything you've got that's special, now would be a good time to do it. That's what I'm going to have to do. So what is it? One machine left, PAL. So that means you've got one PAL machine, I think, because you did a shift 1 there, if that's a 1, because that's an exclamation mark. Yeah, because you're up in the yeah, because I've got 2 machines. You see, I bought, not a problem. I bought, because I had Super VHS. I bought a Super VHS, which I then which was working presumably when I got it. I think I tried it, and I put it to one side. It's of a similar era to the one that I used for the hi-fi sound demonstration, which had the capacitor blow up, and it will rewind, it will fast forward, it won't play. Now I reckon it's probably the mode switch is not working properly, but it means I've got to get into the damn thing to repair it. But SVHS, of course, is much better than standard VHS, but I've got loads of home movies that I need to get off SVHS, so I might actually splash out and buy. There's a company on eBay doing some refurbs, and I might well go for that. Oh, you've got a DVD and VHS. Oh, right, that's good. You just need to keep it moving, I think, is the answer. Because I've got a mini cam. No, hang on, a mini DV. And it was funny because we fired it up and we got some home movies on mini DV, which I don't know that I've converted to anything else. I probably have, but I might not have done. But of course, I haven't got currently a computer with FireWire, so I'd probably end up doing an analog transfer. I mean, better to have it in analog than not at all. And I powered it up. I must have found some way of powering it up, and it went beep 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 beep. Yep, didn't do anything. I'm not doing those sounds again. You either caught them or you didn't, and it just sort of sat there and did nothing. And so I had a quick look inside through the tape hatch. I mean, mini DVs are gorgeous if you're into mechanics, because you've got that tiny little. It's about that big, so we're talking about, was that about a centimetre head drum? And so you've got a tiny little head drum, and it's U wrap, I think, or it might be M wrap, doesn't really matter, it's wrapped. And yeah, it makes lovely little squeaky noises. And I mean, I look at it and think of, it looks like a watch, high class watch type of thing. And I'm thinking, right, okay, well, what do I do now? So I found something that moved. Bearing in mind, I do know a little bit about video recorders. Not a lot, but a bit. So I found something that should be moving. I moved it, and I thought, well, we'll see what that does. I think it might have been a speed, something like some sort of flywheel. But anyway, I moved it, and I then powered it up again, and it worked, and it played back, and it was great. But it would have been ever so easy if I'd been a a novice, it would have been ever so easy to just bin that on the basis that it didn't work. But I've just got to pull it out and copy the stuff off. Trouble is, and I'm sure you'll appreciate this, if you've got 20 hours of video, however you pull it off, whether it's Firewire or analog, you've still got to actually play 20 hours of video. That's what I actually originally got. If you've seen my video on the hi-fi sound, the original DVD recorder I got, well, that's the second one actually. I got it with a view to doing the VHS transfers to DVD, because if you've ever tried doing transfers to computers, this is only my experience, but you put it across, Firewire, whatever, and it's then sat in an editor, and you think, oh, I'll just trim the front and the end, and then you think, oh well, I'll just maybe I'll cut the bit out of the middle where I fell over or whatever, and so you're there for ages doing silly things to your video, and you've still got another 19.5 hours of video to do, and you've just spent 4 hours playing with that half hour. If you work that out, and actually those aren't unreasonable figures, because you've got to play a half an hour tape, and then you've got to check the half an hour tape. So that's an hour. That's assuming everything's right. And if it's not right, because invariably the first time you do it, it's not, you then got to go back and put right what was wrong. So maybe it's an hour and a half to do the first half an hour of video, and then you've got to burn it to disk in the case of a DVD, or you've got to save it somewhere safe on your PC. And then what do you do? Well, you've then got another 19.5 hours to go. So I always reckoned it took about 4 times longer. About digital VHS tapes. Which program is good for cleaning up the signal, like making it better, that is? I've got a very, very, very good clean it up, make it look better program, which is Topaz. Let me just find it. It's called Video AI, and I'll start it up for you. Sorry, that's a dick, not a dick. I'm not calling myself a dick, or anybody else a dick, come to that. Let's have a quick look at, see if I can, just trying to remember how to do these things in such a way that I don't end up cutting us off. Oh, Kelvin, hello Kelvin. Use it or lose it, consider this. Move out of your home for a few years and then move back in and find all the cracks in the walls. That's right, yes. Topaz. I've got the problem that I've already digitalised a load of cassettes, not cassettes, a load of video onto DVD, and the trouble with that is DVDs are not permanent. They were when they were allegedly being marketed, like CDs were, but they're not. So I've got to go back and copy some of them. Let me just bring this up. If I do get rid of that and do that. Right, this is it's asking me to do updates, but this is the dashboard on video, Topaz Video AI, and what it does is it gives you the ability to do all sorts of things. But if I just find a really bad bit of video, I did do some work for a harmonica player, and he's got some really crap old video, which is basically DV or VHS quality. And if I can just find the appropriate, because I didn't know I was going to do this, so I haven't prepared it. But if I can just find where he is, yeah. So there we go. Downloads. This one should be, yeah, there was a, right, this one, I think, all that. But if I actually bring up any of this stuff, no, there should be some really old stuff. Box patterns, maybe. Blues course, no. Oh, there we go. My computer, you can see how quick my computer is. It's actually pretty quick. This stuff is pretty naff. Let's just open that up, and you should be seeing that it's standard VHS quality. But with this thing, I just wanted to show you you got stabilization, motion deblur, frame interpolation, enhancement, and grain. And so when you're looking at this sort of thing, he's got obviously, if I can get it to be full size. So you've got that as being a picture, which I think you can see quite well on there. And if I go back onto the split screen, you can see there's no difference there because I haven't done anything. But what I should do is if I put on enhancement, and then it brings up all the different parameters, and then you bring up, you've got about 10 or, no, hang on, let me get it right. You've got 4 or 5 different things that produce a result in different ways. So you can do an upscale and whatever else. But you do all that, and then when you hit preview, it goes off and thinks about it. You have to bear with. It can take a long time to do something, I tell you. But this is going to produce a preview shot. Right, so looking at that window there on that side, if I bring that up, right, enhancement. Okay, so it will give you a very much better picture than the original. So if I go back to where he was, you know, you can actually see stuff that you couldn't otherwise see. It takes a lot of the noise out. I mean, obviously it can't make what isn't there, but it can make what's there look better. And the only trouble with that is that it would take possibly, I did a video the other day which was for me, and it was some old stuff, and it took 12 hours of processing for a 2-hour video. No, 1-hour video. It was some original NTSC VHS. Let me just bring myself back. It's an original NTSC VHS, which was pretty naff. And what have I done? Do you really want to quit? Yes. But where have you lot gone? Doody-doody-doo. Am I still streaming? I don't know. Let's have a go. I think I've lost myself. Live. Am I still here? Oh, I'm still here, I think. Let's have a look. I just shut down my browser, which was not what I was expecting to do, because it shouldn't have been anywhere near it. But, you know, what can you do? What can you do? What can you say? You just got to do what you got to do. Let's see what the live thing says. It says I've still got an excellent connection and I'm still there. Right, well, okay, that means I didn't break anything. And, oh, it's, yeah, I've still got all my side talks there. Yeah, right, okay. Well, that was a bit nerve-wracking. I literally shut down the browser. But it didn't lose it. It would appear. Anyway, right, okay. Yeah, to do this VHS, which was of a concert in Japan, it was a 1-hour concert, so it took me an hour to transfer it over, then half an hour to work it out, make sure everything was all right, trim it up, because I was doing it for a friend. So made sure the beginning was clear and whatever, and then I ran it through the processing software, and I literally put it on when I went to bed, and it was still running when I got up the next morning, and it did take 12 hours to process the 1 hour, but the end result was well worth it. It was a lot cleaner and nicer and was worth doing. So yeah, the answer to your question is I would recommend that software. And if you've got video that is slightly damaged, which is very easy to have happen, it will actually stabilise it. I've seen the adverts for it, and it does do what it says on the tin, which is good. They also do other stuff. They do photo software as well. But if I was going to do what you're suggesting there, digitalising, then that's what I would do. That's what I'd buy it for, and I can say that honestly because I have. And yeah, well worth it. Right, the other thing, anything else anybody wants to talk about? Been rabbiting on there. Went on a live last night with Recordology. He's feeling better apparently, so that's good, because he had his appendix out. I'm not telling anybody anything nobody doesn't know if they're subscribed, but he did say he was having a bit of a problem recovering, but he seems okay now, so that's good. And well, he's doing live, so that's all right. And what do we see? Oh yeah, those records from Action Men that teac did on the weekend. They look like fun. It's amazing how good a quality you can make a bad quality thing if you don't care about how the quality comes out. I was just thinking, they've got a motor and they spin a plastic disc, and it sounds pretty good considering. And then you get yourself a Technics 1200, and it costs thousands of pounds or thousands of times what the other thing cost, and it doesn't sound. It's the law of diminishing returns, isn't it? It doesn't sound thousands of times better. It sounds a hell of a lot better, obviously, but not a straight linear multiplication. Right, what else is there? Now I've got a couple of things coming up. I've been putting on some silly old some one-liners on the shorts, but I still don't understand why people will watch a video and click on the dislike button. If it's technically correct, why click on the dislike button? I've got somebody who keeps on putting one dislike. I mean, I can have a video that will go out for 2,000 views, and it'll have 10 likes and 1 dislike. And I'm guessing it's the same person all the time. I think they've just got something. I mean, it all counts as engagement. So what the hell? But I've never put a dislike. I mean, I've wanted to on the odd when I've stumbled across the odd video that is fundamentally wrong for whatever reason, but I've never actually clicked on a dislike. I just don't click on the like if I don't like it. So why? Anyway, right, anything else? So yeah, well, obviously I haven't said hello to Kelvin. Hello Kelvin, how you doing? And I see, oh yes, V Westlife did a thing on Walkmans this week, which is quite interesting, and the We Are Rewind held up quite well. Well, it was one of the top ones, so yeah, that's doing all right. Got similar results to what I got when I did your one, Kelvin. So yeah, it's pretty consistent then. I'm gonna have to change the thumbnail on this. I just hit the Go Now button, which is why it came up the way it did. Right, okay, so if there's anything else would be of any interest, I've still got a music centre to go through, and I've got a few more tapes to go through. So yeah, that's the plan for the next month. Anybody got anything else they'd like to ask, say, or mention? Well, in the absence of an answer, then what I shall do is I shall have to say, let's wind it up, because otherwise I'm just going to sit here going all the time, which is not so good. I shall try and produce something interesting for next time. Maybe I'll have a script or something.
DVD, CD drive.
Oh yeah, that was of interest. My wife was just saying that we had a weird thing. Talking about CD drives, actually, because digitalising. She had a plug-in in the side sort of laptop DVD burner, and it decided it was going to not eject the discs except when it did, and it was going to not read the discs except when it did, and it was going to do. None of the faults were consistent, and so we put a CD in it, not realising there was definitely a fault with it. We put a CD in it to burn. To rip, and it ripped it fine, and then it started playing it, and then we went to bed, and we woke up the next morning, it was still playing it, and when we went to do it wouldn't eject the disc, and then we tried putting it. We eventually got the disc out by turn it on, turn it off a few times, and then put another disc in, and it wouldn't read that, and then it did, then it wouldn't, then it did, then it wouldn't, literally as fast as that. So the displays were coming up, and it gave a really rather irritating effect. So, kind of long story short, bought a new one. But just
And it worked perfect.
and the new one worked perfect first time. So just a word of warning: if you think you've got a dodgy drive, you probably have.
And don't forget there's a little hole in it that you can make the disc eject.
Yes, and there is a hole in the front which you can push a pin in or something, and it will eject the disc so that you can get to it. And also, if you've got, you mustn't plug them into hubs, it says, and I've found that to be a problem as well. So don't plug them into a hub. Anyway, and it's 28 quid to replace it, just as a point of interest. So it was my first CD burner. I paid 350 quid for. And all it did was burn CDs. So anyway, just a thought. And with that, I shall close it down. So thank you for coming along, Egil. Thank you for coming along, Kelvin. And hopefully, and also Van der Vast. I shall hopefully see you next week, and I shall try and produce something that's worth listening to if I've just got to rav it onto myself. Anyway, thanks a lot, chaps, and yeah, see you another time. I'm going to hit the stop button now. You never know what's going to happen on this thing. Let's hit the stop button.